How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we have another match, this time against Scareclaw. Before we begin, make sure to leave a thumbs up in the video, subscribe if you're new as always, and first of all, I really like playing against Scareclaw. I think we might see like a little bit more Scareclaw, and I think it's really important for you guys seeing this to know how to not only deal with, tier Ishizu, which we already know so much about the deck. I think like the smaller Roger strategies, Roger, if that's even a word, it's really important to see those matchups take place. I actually play a lot of Scareclaw myself. I do have a couple deck lists on the channel as well, with Kashira, with Brave, stuff like that. It's a really fun and often really powerful deck that Despia doesn't have an easy time specifically getting over with. So I thought this was really cool to see, because I think these were really important, like strong interactions between us. And yeah, so again, if you do enjoy this type of content, leave a thumbs up in the video, subscribe, and consider joining. Click the join button to learn more about the benefits of members of the channel. Really helps out the channel. If you want to support for like a few bucks a month, really helps. Appreciate it. So I go first. You already see the Ash Blossom, our nightmare. People don't play it a lot, but Scareclaw can definitely play it. They do play hand traps. Their engine is very small. They play a couple of Bystials. The Brave package and everything else can be hand traps. So again, not very easy. They also don't really lose to Bystials that much, but the line here is pretty clear. The reason why I don't go for the Tragedy here, and I do go for the Edgem Chain, is because the Edgem Chain is going to give me a little bit more juice that I need. Going for the Tragedy here gets you basically a Dramaturge or like an Ad Libitum that you might not be able to resolve or summon because you don't have any fusion spells in hand. If I had a Theater or a Poly already in hand, might have been a different situation here, but you get basically 3 cards now out of this branded opening. You get the branded fusion, then you get Poly and another Edgem Chain. So look at this hand, 6 cards after going, it's already +2. Branded Fusion gets ashed. Makes sense. I just go Masquerade Pass, basically. I search for an Albert for my next turn. This is also good as just like something to have in the graveyard. Already have opening to protect it. And 2 Bystials in hand. So I'm feeling okay. Even though like when you see an Ash Blossom, you don't immediately think like, oh, this is tier. It's not tier, probably. You can tell that. So the funny thing about Masquerade on the field alone is these cards. Resolving the entire like chain of Fateful Adventure cards is very costly under one Masquerade. So just pay attention on how much my opponent needs to pay in order to get like a token and an equip and like a Griffin on the field. So they just pay. Everything is just like, it's so expensive, and it always like cracks me up so much. 44 to equip, another 600. They finally bounce it, and they're left on 38. So I'm feeling okay here because I have the Bystials. You can always go Battle Fate Bystial, protect yourself. These cards are like incredible. Griffin, I'm thinking on resolution here, on effect on hand. Because I know that I already want like a monster on the field. So I'm going to try for the Serenir here. The reason why I always go, if I have these two, or like Magnamut and something else, I always go for the not the Magnamut first. I go for the Magnamut second. The reason why I do that is that if they have a Bystial of their own, I still get to resolve my Magnamut. So it's important for me to resolve the Magnamut on the field and not the Serenir. So I kind of sacrifice the lesser one or the worst one in the beginning. And this is exactly what happens. They chain Dwarfsworm even though I don't have any monsters on the field, which we correct in a second. Then I just ask them to return it to the hand, and I summon my own Serenir. They summon it in defense. They asked to change it to defense because they didn't think I would have the Serenir. Absolutely fine. Let your opponent take back plays if it's not like, cheating or stuff like that. It's really important. So they do activate the Dwarfsworm here, and this is a very good opportunity to block them from having another body and using the Magnamut. So either they lose a body and you get a Magnamut search, or they have to get rid of the Griffin. win-win. And this is what happens. It's not like super questionable to negate the Magnamut with the Griffin, I suppose. I think it's like okay. Druid's Worm, they summon the Enchantress, they go for a Dark, they send my Serenir, I get the Retribution. I know that I'm not dead here. Like, I know this line isn't OTK, like, unless they had exactly, like, maybe, you know, another Scareclaw in hand, but they had this, which is useless against my deck. Retribution is really good, because I'm going to get the Brand Fusion later, and now, unfortunately, this interaction is just very strong, so you can't do anything about that, which really sucks. Steal that, IP. They could have attacked with like the monsters first and then made IP. That was a misplay. But they do search a Bystial. Then I get the Retribution, get the Brand Fusion in hand, get the Druid's Worm, and basically from here on out, it's pretty safe. Brand Fusion, get this, lost to. The reason why I grabbed the Mercury here is because I know that they have a Druid's Worm. So, they have a Druid's Worm and they have an IP, so the negate here is a lot more important. And the IP doesn't do much against this deck when you have Branded Lost, because when they activate Masquerena, you just chain Mirror Jade and banish it, and it's gone. So it's really easy to play around. Now they don't activate anything. Shuffle back, get this, Edge and Chain, and basically like no matter what they do, they lose here. If you want 5% off any single or sealed product and want to support me and the channel, head over to tier0games.com and use code GALZO5 at checkout. So, you know, it was a lot of back and forth thanks to the Bystials, but here you can see again, they do have a lot of hand traps, and they also have like full engine. So they have Scareclaws, they have hand traps, and they have Water Enchantress. I have no going second cards basically, but this deck can break boards without any, which is really good. So I give them the big thumbs up. They go ham. Token, yeah. Try hard, light hard, get the field spell, get the equip. Search the Griffin, discard, equip back to the token. They chain the Griffin here. They add the Visas Starfrost, which is interesting because they can actually make a Brawn here. Visas pop, bring that back. They get another Lightheart, which is the effect is now once per turn. Then they go for the Tryhard, which is not easy at all to get rid of. Basically, you need to get to a Druid's Worm. That's like the way to out it. Either a Druid's Worm or a Branded Beast. Either one of them you can actually out it. They play it really well here. They play the line exactly as you should, because now they can search and draw a card. Look at the huge pluses, and they draw an Ash off the additional draw. I mean, you can't really beat that. They have an Imperm. This is like huge Floodgate, negate, and pop 2, and Veiler and Ash in hand. You don't get through that. You just don't. Foolish for the Tragedy. I try to push forward because, you know, why not? I'm not going to just surrender. I chain the Brannier here. So this is very good to draw the red. So this is why I started with the Foolish Barrel, just to have a red target. Now they have to spend a lot of, like, you know, interruptions on this, which they do. This Aluber took the Imperm and the Griffin. So now they're left basically with the Floodgate and the cards in hand, which I don't know. Poly. Here they should have activated. Oh, yeah, they could have targeted the Poly. So you just target the Poly. Could have been better because afterwards you can't really target the Chimera. I'm not really sure like what I'm doing here. I'm just playing, to be honest. They have a Veiler on this. I scoop it up. Easy scoop. You don't break that board with anything like without any like specific cards. So they draw 2 Scareclaws, Foolish, Ride, Duster. Again, very good hand. Also going second, like the Duster is very good against Branded because, you know, now we end on like so much back row. And I have also like pretty good. So I still go for the opening. Get more cards in hand because I know I'm going to activate Mask Change here. which is, again, pretty good against this deck as well, because they do need to summon from the graveyard in order to search with the tryhard. So it does, like, you know, and if they add a card, you banish it. Patchwork. I'm like so scared of Ash at this point, to be honest. I'm like, oh my god, there's no way it passes. I go for the normal line, basically. I'm not really like playing around evenly or something like that. I'm just going for like enough disruption, but I don't like go insane into the back row. Albion gets a red just because it's chainable. Now I have to chain the red here, which I do. Then they Druid's Worm here. So again, 2 interactions like spent on that brand red. It's not horrible for me because I still have a lot going on board. Yeah, so Druid's Worm, right, Avaramis here. Now, here they just go straight into the battle phase because they need to get rid of the Darklaw in order to, like, otherwise just like miss the equip, they can bounce the Mirror Jade, stuff like that. There's no question here that you banish the Druid's Worm. There's no other choice. Then they need to go into like a pretty awkward line. I get, you know, the Darklaw, they add to hand. Don't forget that effect. Banish one of their monsters, which was one of their cards. Yeah, which is the Scareclaw. They do end up getting the equip. And they already have a negate. So they're doing pretty good. So now they're also going to draw a card. But now I have the follow-up. I have the setup already, so I'm not that worried. So they try to pop with the field spell on the Darklaw that you can protect with branded opening. So that's what I did. Then they bounce it with the equip. Everything goes to defense. And they try to summon back the Rykard to search off of the other effect of the tryhard. But remember, this can only revive the level 3s. So now they're kind of stuck on like a pretty meh board, I suppose. Albion grabs the banishment. This was super crucial here because this is a really good out to tryhard. And this is exactly what I go for. I just immediately go for it. And they have to go like Twin Soul Pop too, which is perfectly fine for me. Yeah, I still get to summon the Albion eventually. Then I can go into the Lubellion, get to the Aluber. Aluber actually gets Veilered Poly here into a Chimera. And a Lost, grab the Albion, pop the Fateful and the token, and I draw Branded Fusion off the top. So again, very interactive gameplay, very much like back and forth. I really enjoy playing against decks like Scareclaw. Really interactive and really fun. Like dealing with hand traps, this is something that we still have to do as branded players, even though it's like not top meta today. You know, you're playing against Hirshizu most of the time, but still, these decks exist. So I wanted to, you guys, like, you know, going to locals and stuff, seeing how this deck actually plays out against rogue strategies. Thank you so much for watching. As always, leave a thumbs up on the video, subscribe. If you enjoyed, consider joining. Click the join button to learn more. Helps the channel a lot and supports me in making more videos. Thank you so much for watching again. See you in the next one. Peace.